Humanity is turning ideas that once seemed possible only in science fiction into reality. An oval museum with a hollow center, supported by no interior columns and wrapped in flowing Arabic calligraphy. A moving city weighing 5 times as much as the Titanic, carrying an entire luxury resort across the ocean. More than 500,000 mirrors transforming a desert into a massive solar power plant. Billions of dollars, enormous resources, bold ambitions. When all of these come together, even the most outrageous megaprojects have a chance of becoming reality. But is this the ultimate limit? Or are there still engineering marvels so extraordinary that they make even our imagination seem too small? The answer awaits just ahead. Two massive towers curve toward each other, leaving a vast open space between them. From many angles, the entire structure looks like two giant swords rising into the skyline. When the lighting system comes alive at night, those sweeping curves become even more striking, turning the towers into the centerpiece of Lusail's waterfront. This is Katara Towers in Qatar. The building stands about 211 meters tall and rises 36 stories. Inside are nearly 500 rooms and suites, along with luxury residences, restaurants, and conference facilities. The two towers do not rise in straight vertical lines. Their curvature changes continuously from one floor to the next. As a result, many sections could not share the same floor plan or be built using the same construction methods as conventional high-rise buildings. The entire design was inspired by the pair of curved swords on Qatar's national emblem. Instead of remaining a symbol, that idea was transformed into a real building where people can stay, work, and gather every day. A gigantic steel exoskeleton wraps around the entire building. Set within that structural web are 3 enormous voids that cut all the way through from one side to the other. As if sections of the tower had been carved away while somehow remaining perfectly upright. Morpheus Hotel is located in Macau. The building stands about 160 meters tall with 40 floors. Instead of enclosing a traditional central core, the engineers created 3 massive openings that extend through multiple levels. As a result, the building's structural loads are carried by the outer frame. Interlocking steel members weave together to form a giant exoskeleton surrounding the entire tower. This structural system is what allows the building to maintain its extraordinary shape. Many of the structural components had to be custom fabricated to match the unique curves and connection points of the exoskeleton. At Morpheus Hotel, even the empty space in the middle became something that had to be engineered and constructed through remarkably complex design and calculations. Icon of the Seas looks like a massive resort drifting across the ocean. Its decks are filled with multiple swimming pools, a water park, a glass dome, and a garden featuring more than 33,500 living trees and plants. The ship is about 365 meters long, with a gross tonnage exceeding 250,000 gross tons. At full capacity, it can accommodate nearly 10,000 people, including passengers and crew. Its sheer scale goes far beyond what most people imagine a cruise ship could be. Many of Icon of the Sea's voyages last 7 nights. Throughout the journey, passengers can dine, relax, and enjoy countless activities without ever needing to set foot on land. Beneath all the attractions is an extensive engineering network operating around the clock. Electricity, fresh water, air conditioning, waste treatment, and the propulsion system must all function reliably while the ship is sailing across the open sea. The Busan Geoje fixed link connects the city of Busan with Geoje Island through a transportation corridor stretching about 8.2 kilometers. Part of the route crosses the sea on a series of major bridges. The rest continues beneath the seabed through an immersed tunnel. The 2 cable-stayed bridges are the highlights of the sea crossing. The largest has a main span of 475 meters. Its 2 diamond-shaped towers, standing 156 meters tall, support the entire roadway with a network of steel cables. The route then gradually descends into an immersed tunnel more than 3 kilometers long. The massive tunnel sections were built on shore, towed out to sea, and carefully lowered into pre-positioned locations on the seabed. When it was completed in 2010, it became the world's deepest immersed road tunnel, with its lowest point lying about 48 meters below sea level. The entire project was constructed in waters with heavy waves, soft seabed conditions, and strict earthquake resistance requirements. In return, the distance between Busan and Geoje was reduced by about 60 kilometers, while travel time dropped from more than 2 hours to just around 40 minutes. You would be hard-pressed to find another skyscraper shaped quite like this. From its base to its peak, the entire tower twists in a single direction. Every floor is rotated slightly from the one below it. Rising to a height of 462 meters, Lakhta Center became the tallest building in Europe. Above the foundation piles sits a massive concrete base. Nearly 20,000 cubic meters of concrete were poured continuously over the course of about 49 hours. The operation set a Guinness World Record for the largest continuous concrete pour ever completed. As the structure gradually took shape, thousands of glass panels were lifted hundreds of meters into the air to enclose the building. About 16,500 glass panels were installed. Many of them were custom manufactured to match the tower's twisting form. Inside are a reinforced concrete core and a vibration damping system. Together, they keep the skyscraper stable against powerful winds and the harsh winters along the Gulf of Finland. Would you dare to go skiing on the roof of a power plant? In Copenhagen, that is exactly what you can do. CopenHill is both a waste-to-energy power plant and a public recreation area built directly on its rooftop. Each year, the facility processes about 400,000 tons of non-recyclable waste. The heat generated is used to produce electricity and provide district heating for tens of thousands of homes across the city. On top of the building is a ski slope about 450 meters long. Its surface is covered with a specialized material that allows people to ski all year round. You can also go hiking or climb an artificial rock wall rising about 85 meters. One structure serves two completely different purposes. A power plant continues operating every day, while just above it, people enjoy the experience of an outdoor park. A concrete wall standing 186 meters tall holds back an entire river in the middle of the Tateyama Mountains. This is Kurobe Dam, the tallest dam in Japan. Its curved concrete wall stretches between two steep mountain slopes, with a massive reservoir held behind it. During the annual water discharge season, two torrents of white water burst from the dam. Every second, about 10 to 15 tons of water plunge into the gorge below. Mist engulfs the base of the dam, while the roar echoes through the surrounding mountains. The Kurobe No. 4 hydroelectric power station is built deep underground. Water from the reservoir is channeled through the mountain before driving the turbines. A walkway runs across the top of the dam for visitors. From there, one side overlooks a deep blue reservoir surrounded by towering peaks. The other looks down into the valley, where the water crashes straight into the gorge below. The train glides forward, yet you can barely see any wheels turning. The Shanghai Maglev connects downtown Shanghai with Pudong International Airport. The journey of more than 30 kilometers takes only about 7 minutes and 20 seconds, thanks to a top speed of 431 kilometers per hour. As the train accelerates, the entire vehicle lifts about 1 centimeter above the track using magnetic force. With no direct contact between the train and the guideway, friction is almost completely eliminated. That allows the train to travel remarkably smoothly, even at extremely high speeds. When two maglev trains pass each other in opposite directions, they flash by in an instant. At that moment, their relative speed can exceed 700 kilometers per hour. After more than 20 years of operation, the Shanghai Maglev remains the world's first commercial high-speed magnetic levitation railway. It is also one of the very few places where passengers can experience magnetic levitation technology in everyday operation. Normally, two towers simply stand side by side. One Za'abeel transforms the space between them into part of the building itself. The two towers are connected by the link, a three-story structure stretching about 230 meters. It is suspended nearly 100 meters above the ground. One end of the link extends another 67.3 meters beyond the tower, with no support columns underneath. Guinness World Records has recognized it as the world's longest occupied building cantilever. The massive steel modules were assembled at ground level before being lifted into place using a heavy lift cable system. One by one, the modules were joined together to form a single continuous structure suspended between the two towers. The empty space between the towers has now become part of the architecture itself. This design has created one of Dubai's most distinctive architectural landmarks. The Ōnaruto Bridge carries an expressway across one of the strongest tidal channels in Japan. The bridge stretches 1,629 meters, connecting Ohashi Island with Shikoku Island. Its main span measures 876 meters, crossing the narrowest section of the Naruto Strait. Beneath the bridge, powerful tides continuously force massive volumes of water through the strait. Fast-moving currents collide with slower ones. The surface of the sea begins to churn into giant whirlpools. Some of them reach about 20 meters in diameter. Inside the lower bridge girder is Uzu no Michi, a 450-meter-long observation walkway. It sits about 45 meters above the water. Glass panels in the floor allow visitors to look straight down at the whirlpools forming below. The Ōnaruto Bridge not only maintains a vital transportation link between the two islands, but also brings people directly above one of Japan's most famous tidal phenomena. Burj Khalifa stands almost alone on the Dubai skyline. As it rises higher, the tower becomes progressively slimmer until only a single spire reaches into the sky. The building stands 828 meters tall, with more than 160 occupied floors. The tower is divided into a series of stepped sections. Each one ends at a different height, creating Burj Khalifa's unmistakable silhouette. To keep the entire structure stable, engineers developed a Y-shaped floor plan with 3 wings extending from a central core. This design helps the tower resist twisting forces and distribute structural loads down into the foundation. The stepped sections do more than define the building's appearance. They also disrupt the way wind flows around the tower, reducing sway at extreme heights. At the very top, a steel spire completes the structure, giving Burj Khalifa its full height and making it the tallest building in the world. In the heart of Singapore, steel trees rising as high as 50 meters grow from the middle of a garden. At night, they glow. By day, they are covered with lush vegetation, looking like a forest from the future. This is Gardens by the Bay, a waterfront complex covering more than 100 hectares. 18 super trees stand throughout the Marina Bay Gardens. Each one is a massive steel structure covered with hundreds of species of ferns, orchids, climbing vines, and other plants. These trees are built for more than just their appearance. They also function as ecological towers. Some generate solar power through panels mounted at the top. Others collect rainwater for irrigation. Several super trees also serve as natural ventilation exhaust towers, helping regulate the climate inside the 2 giant conservatories nearby. Connecting the super trees is the OCBC Skyway, a 128-meter elevated walkway. It allows visitors to walk among the artificial tree canopies at a height of about 22 meters. The entire garden combines architecture, engineering, and environmental technology, transforming reclaimed land into one of Singapore's most iconic landmarks. A giant ring-shaped machine is being built to contain plasma hotter than the core of the Sun. ITER is located in southern France. More than 30 countries are taking part in the project. Its goal is to demonstrate that nuclear fusion can operate on a large scale. Inside the tokamak, fuel is heated into a plasma. The temperature reaches about 150 million degrees Celsius. The plasma must never touch the walls of the reactor. Powerful superconducting magnets generate an intense magnetic field. They keep the plasma suspended inside the reaction chamber. ITER aims to produce about 500 megawatts of thermal power, while requiring only about 50 megawatts of input heating power. This process takes place during experimental pulses. The facility is not being built to generate commercial electricity. It is being built to prove that a fusion reaction can produce more energy than is needed to sustain the plasma. If the experiments succeed, ITER could pave the way for future fusion power plants. A massive open void has been preserved at the very center of the building. Surrounding it is a continuous steel ring. There are no right angles, only flowing curves that connect seamlessly from one end to the other. The Museum of the Future stands about 77 meters tall. Its entire exterior is covered with Arabic calligraphy cut through the metallic facade. These openings also serve as windows, allowing natural light to enter the interior. The hollow center is completely free of support columns. The entire structural load is transferred through the steel framework surrounding the outer shell. This design creates vast, uninterrupted interior spaces while preserving the building's distinctive form. The exterior shell is assembled from more than 1,000 composite panels. Each panel has its own unique size and curvature. Every one was precisely manufactured to fit together into a seamless surface. A giant wheel, as tall as an 80-story building, rises into the sky. Ain Dubai stands about 250 meters tall. It is the largest observation wheel in the world. The wheel alone rises higher than many skyscrapers. At its center is a massive steel hub. Hundreds of high-strength cables radiate outward like spokes. 4 enormous support legs hold the entire structure firmly in place on Blue Waters Island. "48 passenger cabins are suspended around the outer rim. Each cabin remains perfectly level throughout the ride. One full rotation takes nearly 40 minutes. More than 11,000 tons of steel were used to build the structure. That is even more structural steel than was used to construct the Eiffel Tower. Every mirror across this site is aimed at the same target. The Noor Ouarzazate solar complex sits on the edge of the Moroccan desert. It is one of the largest solar power complexes in the world. Hundreds of thousands of mirrors continuously adjust their angles to reflect sunlight onto central towers or heat-collecting receiver tubes. This thermal energy is used to heat a transfer fluid. The resulting steam drives electricity-generating turbines. Some of the energy is also stored in molten salt tanks, allowing electricity to continue being produced for hours after the sun has set. The complex combines multiple solar power technologies within a single site. Its total designed generating capacity is about 580 megawatts. The system has helped Morocco significantly reduce its dependence on fossil fuels. Marina Bay Sands features one of the largest and most complex rooftop structures ever built across 3 separate towers. The complex stands along Singapore's Marina Bay. Three towers, each rising nearly 200 meters, were constructed on independent foundations. Spanning across them is the Sky Park, stretching more than 340 meters. It houses an observation deck, landscaped gardens, and the world-famous infinity pool. The 3 towers are not completely fixed in place. Each leans slightly in a different direction. Changes in temperature, wind, and structural loads cause every tower to move by a few centimeters during normal operation. The Sky Park is connected to all 3 towers without being rigidly locked to them. Expansion joints and bearing supports allow the structure to absorb the subtle movements of each tower. As a result, the rooftop remains stable even as the 3 towers continuously expand, contract, and sway independently. A highway stretches across the middle of Tokyo Bay. One section runs above the water, the other disappears beneath the seabed. The Tokyo Bay Aqua-Line extends about 15.1 kilometers, connecting the city of Kawasaki with Kisarazu. Nearly 9.6 kilometers of the route runs through an undersea tunnel, while the remaining section crosses the bay on a bridge. The 2 sections meet at Umihotaru, an artificial island built in the middle of the bay. Every vehicle passes through this point before continuing into the tunnel or onto the bridge. The tunnel was excavated deep beneath the floor of the bay. Safety systems operate continuously to maintain stable conditions inside. Combining a bridge with an undersea tunnel allows large ships to continue passing through one of Japan's busiest shipping routes. The submerged section also reduces the impact of strong winds on traffic. As a result, the entire crossing spans the bay without disrupting the busy maritime traffic above. sphere features the world's largest spherical LED display. The structure is located in Las Vegas, United States. It measures about 157 meters in diameter and rises more than 110 meters tall. Its exterior is equipped with approximately 1.2 million LED pucks, containing more than 57 million individual diodes operating at the same time. The entire outer surface can display massive visual content visible from nearly every direction. Inside is an auditorium with seating for nearly 18,600 people. A curved LED screen surrounds the audience, covering more than 15,000 square meters. The display delivers ultra-high-resolution visuals. Hundreds of thousands of speakers are positioned behind the screen and beneath the seating. The sound system is engineered to deliver precise audio to every section of the venue. A steel space frame supports the entire outer structure. Thousands of structural components are connected into a single, unified framework. This allows the building to maintain the shape of an almost perfectly complete sphere on a scale rarely seen anywhere in the world. Afsluitdijk looks like nothing more than a road stretching across the sea. In reality, the roadway sits on top of a dike about 32 kilometers long. On one side lies the North Sea. On the other is the freshwater lake IJsselmeer. For nearly a century, this dike has prevented seawater from pushing deep into the Netherlands. The dike is built from sand, clay, and millions of tons of rock. Large stones along the outer slope absorb the force of incoming waves. Concrete armor blocks provide additional protection against powerful storms. Water from the rivers continues flowing into the lake every day. Along the dike is a system of sluices and large pumping stations. When the sea level is low, fresh water is released into the North Sea. When high tides or storms raise the sea level, the sluice gates close immediately. Seawater is prevented from flowing back inland. Afsluitdijk did more than create a transportation route. It transformed the inland saltwater basin into the largest freshwater lake in the Netherlands, while protecting millions of people from the threat of flooding. The Petronas Towers were once the tallest twin towers in the world. Rising from the heart of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the towers stand 452 meters tall with 88 floors. Their design is based on Islamic geometry. The floor plan begins with two overlapping squares, rotated against each other, with the corners extended to form an 8-pointed star. The entire exterior is clad in stainless steel and reflective glass. A concrete foundation, more than 4 meters thick, supports the entire structure. At the time, it was one of the largest continuous concrete pours ever completed. Above the foundation, the towers rely primarily on high-strength, reinforced concrete for their structural system. An unusual choice for a super-tall skyscraper at the time. A sky bridge connects the two towers at the 41st and 42nd floors. It spans about 58 meters. Both ends of the bridge are designed to slide slightly as the towers move in strong winds. This allows the structure to reduce stress on the buildings while maintaining a stable connection. The 1915 Çanakkale Bridge stretches more than 4.6 kilometers across the Dardanelles Strait and holds the world record for the longest suspension bridge main span. Its main span measures 2,023 meters. Two steel towers, each rising 318 meters, support the entire cable system. The bridge deck hangs beneath the cables, allowing the wide shipping channel to remain completely open. Large vessels can pass through the strait without navigating around any bridge piers. The Dardanelles is frequently exposed to strong winds. To improve stability, the bridge deck is divided into two parallel steel box girders. A continuous gap between them allows air to flow through the structure. This aerodynamic design reduces wind pressure, and helps limit vibrations across the bridge's main span, which extends for more than 2 kilometers. The length of 2,023 meters was also chosen to commemorate the year 2023, marking the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Republic of Turkey. As a result, the bridge's most important dimension also carries deep national symbolism. Itaipu Dam spans the Paraná River along the border between Brazil and Paraguay. The dam stretches nearly 8 kilometers. Water is held back to form a massive reservoir. The difference in water level creates a powerful flow that drives the turbines inside the power station. Itaipu is equipped with 20 generating units. Each turbine generator assembly weighs hundreds of tons. As water passes through the turbines, the energy of the flowing river is converted into electricity. The entire facility has an installed generating capacity of 14,000 megawatts. Every year, the plant produces tens of billions of kilowatt-hours of electricity. Itaipu supplies almost all of Paraguay's electricity demand and a significant share of Brazil's. For many years, it was also the world's highest producing hydroelectric power plant. When floodwaters need to be released, water rushes through the spillway at an enormous flow rate. The towering white torrents can rise as high as multiple buildings. It is during these releases that the true scale of Itaipu becomes impossible to miss. Marmaray carries trains beneath the seabed, linking the two sides of Istanbul. The entire railway stretches more than 76 kilometers. About 1.4 kilometers of the route runs beneath the water. This section consists of 11 prefabricated concrete tunnel segments. Each was towed out to sea, lowered onto the seabed, and connected to form a continuous tunnel. The deepest point lies about 60 meters below sea level. Above it is one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Below, trains continue running every day. The region is prone to earthquakes. For that reason, The joints between the tunnel segments are designed to flex slightly. They can accommodate ground movement while keeping seawater safely outside. Today, Marmaray serves approximately 600,000 to 650,000 passengers every day. Crossing the undersea tunnel takes only about 4 minutes. Seto Ohashi is not a single bridge. It is a system of 6 bridges connecting Japan's Honshu and Shikoku Islands. The bridges span about 9.4 kilometers across the sea. The route passes over several small islands, creating a transportation corridor with a total length of about 13 kilometers. Each section uses a different structural design. Some are suspension bridges, others are cable-stayed bridges or steel truss bridges. This combination matches the varying distances between the islands while maintaining enough clearance for ships to pass below. The structure has 2 levels. The upper deck carries an expressway. The lower deck supports 2 railway tracks. Cars and trains cross the sea on the same integrated structure. Passing trains generate constant vibrations, while strong sea winds place additional forces on the bridges. The steel framework must be rigid enough to remain stable. Yet the expansion joints still allow the structure to expand, contract, and shift slightly under changing loads. In the Maldives, Hulhumalé continues to grow year after year. Each phase of expansion creates new land in the middle of the sea. Millions of cubic meters of sand are dredged from the seabed and pumped onto the surface. Once the reclaimed ground is compacted and reinforced, roads, residential neighborhoods, and supporting infrastructure begin to take shape. The island was planned at an elevation of about 2 meters above sea level, higher than most of the Maldives' natural islands. This higher elevation helps reduce the risk of flooding during high tides and rising sea levels. Today, Hulhumalé is connected to the capital, Malé, by the Çanakkale Bridge. Tens of thousands of people now live on land that was once open sea. The expansion is still ongoing, and the island is expected to continue growing in the years ahead. In the middle of Osaka Bay, an artificial island supports an entire international airport. Japan's Kansai International Airport sits about 5 kilometers offshore. Its runways, terminal buildings, and technical facilities were all constructed on hundreds of hectares of reclaimed land. The main terminal stretches nearly 1.7 kilometers, making it one of the longest airport terminals in the world when it first opened. But the ground beneath the airport continues to settle over time. The soft layers of sediment beneath the bay are gradually compressed under the weight of the artificial island. To address this, hundreds of support columns inside the terminal were designed to be adjustable and can be raised multiple times throughout the building's lifetime. Engineers regularly measure settlement at individual locations across the terminal. When necessary, each column is jacked up and steel shims are inserted beneath its base, allowing the terminal's roof and floors to remain at their intended elevation. That process continues to this day. Forest City is a development of 4 artificial islands off the coast of Johor, Malaysia. The master plan covers about 30 square kilometers. Hundreds of hectares of seafloor were reclaimed to create the foundation for an entirely new city. Residential districts, transportation networks, and essential infrastructure were then developed together across the newly created land. Once fully completed, Forest City is designed to accommodate hundreds of thousands of residents with all the functions and services of a modern city. It is one of the world's most ambitious land reclamation projects, transforming an area of open sea into the foundation for a large-scale urban development. Switzerland's Gotthard Base Tunnel runs deep beneath the Alps. The railway tunnel stretches for more than 57 kilometers. It is the longest railway tunnel in the world. In some sections, more than 2,000 meters of solid rock lie overhead. Millions of tons of material were excavated to create an almost level railway route through the heart of the mountains. High-speed passenger trains can travel through the tunnel at speeds of up to 250 kilometers per hour. Freight trains also cross the Alps on a much gentler gradient, allowing heavier loads to be transported while reducing reliance on the older mountain routes. Every day, the tunnel is capable of handling hundreds of train services. It has significantly shortened travel times between northern and southern Europe. The MOSE project was built to protect the Italian city of Venice from extreme high tides. The system consists of 78 flood barriers installed on the seabed. They are positioned at the 3 inlets connecting the Venetian lagoon to the Adriatic Sea. When sea levels rise, the massive steel gates slowly lift out of the water, forming a barrier that prevents storm tides from flooding the city. Once the water level drops, the entire system sinks back to the seabed. This allows Venice to maintain normal boat traffic while remaining ready to respond quickly whenever severe flooding threatens. Every megaproject begins with a bold idea. Many people once believed they could never be built. But through science, engineering, and extraordinary resources, they became reality. Today, many of these remarkable structures continue to reshape the world in very different ways. Which megaproject impressed you the most today? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your pick. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next adventure.